The Capital Brew Podcast with 20 North Dave and Nick Lee. What's brewing in the 518?
All right. So we've got a new brewery opening up right here in Amsterdam, New York. It's on the main drag here. How would you, Dave? How would you describe this main drag? It's Main Street.
It essentially, yeah. I mean, like it's downtown, like Main Street, Amsterdam.
Yeah,
You need a little closer.
that's perfect.
I don't like leaning forward.
You know, you can move it closer.
No, it's fine. Yeah, that's the best way to describe it. We're not on Route 5, though, which a lot of people, I think, would consider
The main.
the main drag.
That's what I was saying.
across.
Like this seems like the old school. Like if this was an old Western, this would be that main drag that they would have a shootout at high noon.
Oh, definitely. Like, yes, like Route 5 goes around this.
Yeah.
Like, this is like the downtown, like, business area. So, like, you don't want to be driving through here.
It even looks very historic. It looks.
Oh,
it
yeah,
looks
with that
old.
bank. There's a beautiful old bank across the street.
Yes. And we are joined today by Colin and
Cheyenne.
I almost said Savannah again. I don't know why.
That's okay. They're close.
But anyway, so you guys have a new brewery. It's going to be called Schwalbacher.
That's
Schwalbacher
correct.
Brewing.
All right.
Where did you guys come up with that name?
Well, my last name is Schwalbach.
Well, that makes
and
sense.
Kind of like the German conjugation of your name, if that's the right word. I don't know. I'm bad at grammar. But like hamburgers are from Hamburg. Frankfurter
all right.
sausages are from Frankfurt.
All right.
Schwalbacher beers from Schwalbach.
There
And
you
it
go.
does. I mean,
Yeah.
it does sound like a good German brewery
Yeah.
name.
Hopefully I can measure
Well,
up.
So tell us a little bit about your history. I understand you were in Colorado. You went to school in Colorado.
Yeah, so I lived in Colorado for most of my life. My dad was military. He retired when we moved there, so I spent most of my life in Colorado.
Air Force.
My dad was in the Army.
Army.
But there's like 5 bases there, so
Yeah.
it brings in a lot of military. And then he was stationed there at the time when we met, and then he got out, and we wanted to buy a bigger house. And I worked remote, so we could go wherever we wanted.
Nice.
So we found a house that we fell in love with in Amsterdam, and that's what brought us here.
Wow.
So you guys are not from this area?
No.
Not
So you
at
knew
all.
nothing about it. You just
No.
were like, I like this house, so I'm going to move here.
We loved the house,
Yeah.
so we decided we're
Wow.
moving here.
Wow.
So Colin, where are you originally from?
So I was an Army brat growing up, so
You were all
lived in
over
a
it.
lot of places. But from second grade to end of high school, I was in Heidelberg, Germany.
Okay.
Big military base for a while. It actually closed down the year after I left, so
They missed you.
terrible.
Yeah.
That's it. Colin's gone. We're done.
Yeah, but then after that, I joined the Army and kept moving around, and now we're here.
So what, I'm trying to familiarize myself with with an Army base. I can't think of an Army base in Colorado. Where was it?
So we were in Colorado Springs.
Okay.
There's quite a few there. There's Schriever, there's Peterson. Those are both Air Force bases.
Yep.
Fort Carson is an Army base.
Oh, it's Fort Carson. Yeah, I forgot about Fort Carson.
The Air Force Academy is there, so the college for the Air Force.
Citadel.
Citadel's in
the
South
Citadel's-
Carolina.
Yeah, Citadel's
Yeah.
not
There is a
Citadel,
Citadel
there is a-
on the Air Force Academy.
not the one you're thinking of.
The one I'm thinking of in Colorado.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a church.
mean,
It's really
everybody-
cool.
Yeah,
Like,
it's got
everybody
like
knows Citadel,
the
yeah.
12 points.
It's very pointy,
Yeah.
yes. 12 triangles
Yeah.
like in a row, yeah.
I
It's
think it's
called
for like the
Citadel.
apostles or something.
Very cool.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
So.
Very cool.
Huge military town.
Yep.
And
Huge
a
beer
huge
town.
city. Yeah, huge beer town. There was literally from our house we could walk to 3 different breweries.
Yeah.
Like less than a 5-minute walk. So when we moved here, we were shocked that there was no brewery here because it's not a tiny, tiny town, but
Yeah, we've closest way. We've got Wolfhollow.
Yep. I was going to say Wolfhollow is probably the closest.
Closest,
Yeah.
yeah. Amsterdam, not so much Schenectady. Definitely, there's breweries. You can't throw a
Yeah.
rock in any direction without hitting a brewery. Same with Albany. It's funny. I was talking to somebody also from Colorado, and they were like, "Yeah, Colorado's got so many more breweries than New York." And I was like, "Have you been here yet? Have you been there yet?" They're like, "No, but there's way more in Colorado." So I looked it up. There's actually way more in New York than there is in
Yeah.
Colorado.
is there?
Yeah.
That's surprising.
I don't even think Colorado's top 500 yet.
Wow. Because it feels like there's one on every corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say, like, a lot of Colorado is not populated.
No. Yeah,
You
that's
know
good.
what I
Very
mean?
true,
It's,
yep.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably one of the reasons, even though the places that are populated have a zillion of them probably.
Yeah.
It's, it's pretty rural, most of the state.
Yeah.
I mean, not that New York isn't. To be
No.
honest with you, if
Yeah.
anybody's traveled to
True.
central New York, there's a whole lot of nothing out there.
Yeah, I wonder how much the scales are pushed going down into like the Bronx and Brooklyn and
Yeah, probably. We get a lot of them from there.
McSorley's. That's got to count as one.
I don't think that's a brewery though.
I thought they do brew
I
their own
think they
beer.
brew
Do
their
they?
beer,
Yeah.
I don't know. Actually,
pretty sure.
I've only been there once. And,
Yeah.
I don't really remember it.
Yeah. But anyway, so you grew up in Colorado your entire life?
Yeah, since I was 10 till
Nice.
I was 29.
Wow.
So, yeah, I spent a long time there. And I love Colorado. It's just very expensive to live there. It's like, I know people say New York is expensive as well, which makes sense. But, like, up here in kind of the smaller towns, you
Yeah.
have a lot more options.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. We just, my fiance and I, just moved out to where we are now, about out in Galway, and I think we really lucked out. Like living in Saratoga County, like Schenectady County is kind of expensive, and then Saratoga County has really worked out for us. It's beautiful out there. It's
Yeah.
it's 20 minutes from Schenectady, 20 minutes from Amsterdam, 20 minutes from
Yeah.
Saratoga.
Nice central location.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
It's a good spot
I mean, it's beautiful out here. Like, there's a big lake not that far away.
for sure.
And the mountains.
Saginaw,
and
yeah.
It rains way more here than it does in Colorado, so
Yeah.
things are green. I mean,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my grandmother lives in Colorado Springs. My grandfather had a farm in La Jara, Colorado. Spent a lot of time in Monte Vista and Alamosa
Oh,
in the
nice.
southern. Yeah,
Yeah.
very, very familiar with Colorado.
Yeah, that's awesome. I
I
mean,
love it
it's
out there.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it's great. And hopefully at some point I can get my fiance to go and do a road trip with me up there, even though my family doesn't live there anymore. But a few cousins here and there. But
I feel like everyone has to see Colorado
Oh,
at some point,
yeah.
right?
for sure. And then probably the best way to go is to drive down, the southern states, right across the Gulf, like into Louisiana,
Yeah.
then up into Houston, and up into Dallas, and then
Definitely.
through the Panhandle up into the plateaus of New Mexico, and then
Yeah.
get right up into skip the plains and go right up
Yeah.
into the
Yeah.
mountains.
Yeah.
Half of Colorado is basically just Kansas,
Yeah.
and then you get to the mountains. So
Yeah, so I like to cut it right through and it's so
Yeah.
beautiful in the desert and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. You miss all the boring though if you don't go through Kansas and Missouri and
There's been
Illinois.
times.
It's tough.
I've driven.
It's a tough ride.
I've driven. I've driven.
I've done it too.
From
It's
New
tough.
York. Yeah,
Yeah.
right through Kansas, and Kansas is the worst. It's so
It's like
flat. It's a
forever.
straight
I didn't
line.
realize Kansas was like 5,000
Yeah.
miles long.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what it felt like.
huge.
It's like, oh wait, look, there's the big red one, and that's all you get to see. It's like the military base and some windmills.
Okay, I got a question now. You mentioned that you moved here based on you really like the house.
Mm-hmm.
But what were you planning on opening a brewery at that point, or did that come after you decided to move here?
So
Or were you doing it there?
No, so I had just gotten out of the Army and then just kind of trying out some different jobs. IT, not for me. I did some UAV photography, also just kind of not for me. And when we moved here, I was just going to school for business administration, and there's no brewery. Decided, let's just do it.
So you saw an opportunity, and you're like, all
Exactly.
right, I'm going to do this. So
Yeah.
did you have a background in brewing or anything like that?
So I was homebrew for,
Okay.
ever. 8 years, so.
All right, so you're
that's my
essentially
background.
self-taught.
Oh, absolutely.
Would you- okay.
Self-taught, yeah.
All right, like you didn't go to school or,
Yeah. What's funny is that when I was in high school, my mom, I was a really bad student. My mom set me up with a brewer's apprenticeship in Stuttgart.
Nice.
And she was like, you can drop out of high school, go do this apprenticeship. And I was like, nah, I should probably finish high school. But, I mean, it came around full circle.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah, all right. I just had no idea. Like we usually, when we do the podcast, we have kind of a set schedule.
Yeah, 3 questions.
With the fact that you guys aren't open yet, we had to change it up a little bit. But at the
Right.
very least, one of the questions was how you got into brewing, or
Yeah.
how did you learn it?
Mm-hmm.
Then obviously we get into like other stuff, like what kind of beers you have and stuff like that. I don't even know if you have beers out, or maybe not out, but I'm sure I figure you've got them ready.
I have one in the fermenter right now.
Okay.
So,
We're pushing the boundaries of
it's
opening.
cutting it close. We thought we would have a little bit more time,
Yeah.
but
And you guys, I think Nick mentioned you guys were shooting for the 4th, July 4th, for
Yeah.
like an opening.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Now, do you plan on having more than that, like that beer?
so we want to do 4 beers.
Okay.
So a Scottish mild. We're gonna try to do 2 on nitro. So Scottish mild, a bière de garde, summer ale with orange peel, and then one of my experimental things, which kind of keeping close to the chest, but it's basically as far away from beer as you can get without legally calling it like a seltzer or something. It's really completely different, and I'm gonna serve it on nitro, and hopefully it's a hit, but we'll see.
You don't have to worry about blowing up your spot on this podcast. All 6 of our listeners aren't going to go running around telling everybody what you got on planned.
Yeah,
Maybe they'll come try it though.
yeah,
That's
for sure.
important.
Yeah,
All
Experimental
6 of them.
drink. Yeah.
yeah.
It's fermented, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's one of the big
You
qualifications.
know,
but
it's very refreshing to hear that all of your beers are not IPAs.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
that I have any problem with IPAs. I want to get that out there to the public. Just that, obviously we all know that it seems like every time you turn around, it's a new IPA, with some fancy name or
Yeah.
this and that. And I was curious as to, if you were going to be following that trend or perhaps bucking it. And it sounds as if you're bucking it, which I think it's due. It's about time. Not that I have any problem with IPAs. IPAs are good. They have their place. They're very easily made and they're very easily, made different. But it's very refreshing to hear, especially the first beer. I thought you said a mild Scotch. I mean, that's kind of exciting from my standpoint. But I think that all 6 of the listeners would probably be, it kind of excited. I don't know the word I'm looking for, that somebody's coming up with something different. Maybe, and it's not even really different.
No.
Those beers exist. It's just nobody else makes them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you want like a Pilsner, everybody's buying Miller Lite,
Yeah.
or or lagers, or drinking Yingling. Like there's not many micro brews that
Right.
do those beers and do them well.
Yeah.
Well, at least locally
judge I am.
in the immediate area, I think you're kind of hitting an uptick, or not an uptick, but you're hitting a trend that's kind of, moving upward right now. We've got places like Back Barn Brewing that makes a lot of German-style beers. You've got Paradox that makes a lot of German-style beers. You've got, in Vermont, you've got the Von Trapp family that's been there, forever making
since
German.
since the movie,
Yeah.
right?
For sure. So I mean,
They
there's
came immediately from the movie to Vermont.
yeah. Well, they toured the world for a little while, yeah. But yeah, so my point is that locally we're starting to see a lot of German-style breweries, and I think German-style beers are going to be, niching or carving out their own little niche in the market. So
Well, you reach a saturation point. Of, for just about anything.
for sure,
Except for chocolate for me. But aside from that,
not enough chocolate stores.
there's no such thing as too much chocolate.
Yeah, we when we moved here, we were pretty shocked that there was so many IPAs. We're like, I don't know. That's like the only thing you can find at the grocery store. Like when you go look at the beer section, it's only IPAs, which
crazy.
they're not my favorite. I don't like them as much. And like I think we're gonna have a rotational beer menu, so there won't be the same kind of beer on there all of the time. So there will be occasional IPAs for the
sure.
people that do like
Yeah.
them. But really, for us, we want to focus on the other types of beers because the IPA market is very saturated here. And I think there's a lot of room, especially in this town, for like some experimental beers, some fun beers.
I agree.
Especially a place where people can come try them and like be social with other people and sit down and enjoy it, and be like, well, maybe this one wasn't my favorite, but I really liked this other version of this beer. So I'm excited about that.
Are you guys going to just sell the beer you brew, or are you going to, have other beers in here? I mean, I don't know about, what to define domestics or local or whatever.
Right.
Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, so we're a New York farm brewery. So that means we're allowed to carry New York wines and New York distilled spirits.
Nice.
But we're only going to do our beers, but we're going to carry 4 different types of wine. So a sweet and a dry red, and then a sweet and a dry white. And we're kind of looking into cocktails. There's a new distiller who's setting up a tap room down the street.
There's some ambiance for you.
Yeah,
The train.
The train.
the train.
Well, that probably happens a lot.
But yeah, with cocktails comes more problems, I think. And we're not looking to be a cocktail bar or anything.
Yeah.
And we also want to do a better array of non-alcoholic options.
That's a big thing we want to focus on. So he's been working on like a lot of older fermented drinks that are non-alcoholic. So kind of trying some from different cultures, some fermented drinks for the people that don't want to drink. Because I think breweries a lot of time are a community space. So especially if you don't want to drink, there hasn't always been a lot of options at breweries.
I agree.
So it's something that can still be fermented. He's still making it, but you don't necessarily have to have the alcohol.
Right.
So they're mostly going to be like beers, not like
Well,
like
people might say,
kombucha or
Like
people
kombucha,
say,
yeah.
there's other
Mead.
alternatives. I just wondered.
Yeah.
I was curious as to, I think Guinness makes
They do make a 0%.
0%.
Yeah.
For example. So I mean, I was wondering if you were going to do it, like on what beer you make, or
Yeah.
maybe just say to yourself, well, we can make this easily or well, and we're going to try it. It might be forgive me, my brain's not working really well.
That's okay. The fermented beers that are non-alcoholic, from what he said, is kind of a more intensive process. So we're actually just looking to do like just non-alcoholic fermented drinks. So like kombucha or tepache he's been working on. So like some other drinks like that. Maybe in the future we'll be able to do non-alcoholic beers when we have a little more space than what we have here.
Yeah, and money.
And money.
All right.
Did you guys end up? Is this your building?
We're renting.
Okay. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's just
Yeah.
out of curiosity. Sometimes it makes a difference. What you offer, what you do.
Yeah.
This is definitely an area that is what's primed for
For some
revitalization.
it's not
To thrive a
saturated.
little more, yeah.
You're getting into an area where the people haven't taken the opportunity yet.
Right.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think there is a handful of great businesses down here, and like slowly but surely more have been opening. So I'm hoping as we open, we can all raise each other up, as more traffic comes, we could do like partnerships with the other businesses that are down here. A rising tide lifts all boats.
Correct. Yeah.
And I believe there's a fairly new Italian restaurant down here, right? Did that open up, or it's around here somewhere?
So Riverside's been here forever.
They're
Yeah.
a pizza
And then
place.
there is Annie D's.
Yeah.
They are a Latin Italian restaurant.
Okay.
So they have Latin and Italian dishes, not like fusion or anything. But yeah, they're right next door. Well,
Couple
Yeah.
doors
yeah, a
down.
couple doors down. And we're looking at partnering with them.
Nice.
So we don't have to carry, as big of a menu for
Yeah.
food
Do you
options.
guys?
Well, you mentioned-
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, you mentioned the food truck. Is that you're gonna have your own food truck and you're gonna do food, or no?
No.
No.
Just invite different food trucks out.
Absolutely, yeah.
We're partnering with a food truck that's local here called Megabytes Events and Catering for the grand opening. So we
Okay.
for sure have her coming for that. But yeah, we have just set up a link on our website where like food trucks that are interested can just book a time to come.
For sure.
So we have we'll be open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So if you want to come one of those
Yeah.
days, come. That would be
Yep.
awesome. I mean, that's a big thing in Colorado. There's a food truck at every brewery
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
And then when we don't have food trucks here on those days, we want to, hopefully help our other two food businesses over here. So
For
that's
sure.
kind of our current plan.
Yeah.
Yep.
Almost reminds me a little bit of Bayi in Cohoes. They have a couple different restaurants that will put their menu in, and you can order it, and they'll run the food down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, I think like that type of thing. When you have neighbors that are restaurants or
Yeah.
have food, people say it's it's a competition. Somebody. I think that in that situation, you're like, take advantage of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Be like, all right, maybe we don't have a big kitchen, but our neighbors are right there.
Yeah.
We can call them. They'll bring it over, or I
Yep.
can go over there and get it for you.
Exactly.
That really. I will say this from experience: dealing with a kitchen is a whole new ball game.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you guys have, but
No.
you're talking about an entire you're doubling your headache. I guess
Yeah.
is what I'm saying, and it can be a lot when you're trying to just start
Yes.
any business and then adding another 50% or 100% to your business. It can
Yeah.
be real difficult. And like you say, with food trucks, being so readily available. Although I've never really dealt with them that much. I'm not sure how readily available they are. I don't know who you've spoken with, because food trucks, I don't know, here aren't a huge thing. I think
Yeah.
part of it is the weather.
Some
Yeah.
of it, I
They're
mean,
definitely seasonal.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
The winters can be harsh, and nobody really wants to be
Yeah.
going outside and waiting for food.
There's some breweries that will always have, like Wolfhollow will always have, either Flaco Taco, the Hangry Scotsman,
Because they learn. They
Yeah.
don't want to deal with
With the-
that
Yeah.
headache.
yeah, and
Yeah.
there's a couple like Fort Orange, I think, always has a food. There's a couple places that will always have like a food
Yeah.
truck around.
Yeah.
That's the goal. That's what we want to do. We've reached out to some basically online from like Schenectady area, kind of, and a lot of the food trucks that we've seen around, like when we go to other breweries or other places that have food trucks, we've kind of written down their names and like we're going to reach out to them and see if they might be interested in coming. So
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
Should open up a food truck.
yeah.
Well,
Cool.
I
Good
don't
luck.
think that's another thing that's
That's
a
a
big
hard
headache.
business too, yeah.
Once again, because we said it is seasonal.
Yeah.
And it's not like you can just park it, in the wintertime.
And there's all kinds of permits and classes. And,
New York's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what took us so long to start brewing is we had to apply for the federal license and then the state license, but you have to do the federal first and then the state. It's quite a process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were missing stuff for our federal. So,
Yeah, took a little
Yeah.
longer.
Yeah.
So how long ago did you start the process?
We,
January.
January?
End of
Okay,
January.
okay.
Yeah.
We've been looking
This
for
January?
a space.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's actually pretty
The wheels
quick.
are turning pretty fast.
Yeah.
That's
Pretty
what I can tell.
Yeah.
What I'm
Yeah.
used to. I figured you were going to say
Yeah.
like 2 years ago.
ago,
or a
yeah.
year and a half.
No. We've been looking for a space for a while, so once we finally found one, we were like, all right, we wanted an open date of July, so that's why we're like, at least we found it as soon as we did, so we had at least 6 months to try to
Yeah.
get everything moving.
Yeah, last July was like my decision point of like, all right, I'm going to open a brewery or I'm not. So
Yeah.
I just decided last year, and then it's just started looking for spaces, which this town is really deceiving because you see all these empty buildings.
Yeah.
No one wants to rent them
Yeah, those aren't actually available.
or sell them.
Yeah.
Is there a reason for that? And I mean, I'm curious. I don't know.
I would say one of the reasons, one of the examples that I have is there's a building across the street or across the river. It's just like this derelict looking thing, but it's for sale for $500,000. Because I think people know that they're sitting on something good, but my logic is like, if you're not going to dig, a gold mine's not really worth anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I mean, like you can sit on it, but you're gonna end
Yeah.
up paying taxes on it, and
Taxes.
then eventually, whatever money you sell it for, you'll have paid in taxes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you're not getting rent,
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a building. It looked perfect to me. Reached out to the guy. I was like, "Hey, I'll pay you whatever just to rent it, or I'll
Yeah.
take it as is. Just say, give me a price." But $500,000 is
It's
pretty wild.
is above our price range.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of opportunities in this town, and I think hopefully as like things start happening more, the prices will become a little more realistic.
Yeah.
Like people want to actually move the properties because a lot more businesses are moving in. I mean, when we moved here, a lot of like large chains had just opened not that long ago, kind of over by Walmart and Home Depot
Yeah,
and
up
stuff
on
like that. So
30.
there's clearly interest in the town.
Yeah.
So I think they're hoping, someone who's a big box name will come in and rent their space or buy their space. But I'm hoping.
Not when all those are up there. There's still building
Yeah.
up there too.
I
yeah.
know. I'm hoping it'll be more small businesses, and as people start to see more small businesses open, maybe they'll lower the prices and be like, hey, we want to participate in this too.
By the way, have you tried Dave's Hot Chicken yet?
It's good.
It is pretty good. It's expensive.
It is expensive,
Yes.
yeah.
And then I got the Reaper. They made me sign a.
Oh,
Waiver?
Yeah, they made me sign a waiver. They're like, if you die, it's not our fault. I was like,
Did you survive then?
No, I died. I should have signed.
woke up dead.
But no, yeah, it wasn't that bad.
That's funny.
Yeah, but yeah, you gotta try it. It's pretty good.
It is good.
I
I
heard
like
about
it.
it. First, I thought you were busting my balls
'Cause it's
about
called
chicken.
Dave?
Yeah, right. I was like, I didn't make any chicken today or yesterday.
Yeah, King of Buffalo Wings.
Yeah, well, that's Eric,
Yeah.
so I can't take credit for that.
I've been to your house. Yeah, you stole the recipes.
I didn't need to steal it.
But yeah, so what kind of feel do you think do you foresee for this for your guests that are going to be coming? What do you got going on?
Yeah, so we want to be a kind of place that you would come even if you don't drink beer.
Yeah.
Just to be like kind of a third space
Yeah.
where people get together. We want to do like young professional networking.
Nice.
Is going to be one of our partners, the Fulton Montgomery Chamber of Commerce or whatever. And then, yeah, we're going to do some like craft events.
Some trivia, hopefully.
Trivia.
Nice. Yeah, trivia always does well.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
We want to have like a variety of different events for people who,
For sure.
you know, want something to do. They want a place to go do it, and like try different things. You know, crafting or trivia, or there's like a bonsai class that goes around
Nice.
to some breweries over in Schenectady.
I've heard about that.
So,
Oh, yeah.
I
really?
think that's
Oh yeah,
fun.
Jen my fiance Jen was talking about doing it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, I mean, I'm open to stuff like that, but you know, I was like, you know, we got other stuff going on. But when she said that, I'm like, what? And then she mentioned,
Bonsai Daniel.
my buddy Dave mentioned that bonsai is not actually a tree. I don't think bonsai is like making
The art of cutting it up.
No, it's the art of like miniaturizing.
Yeah.
Like any kind of shrubbery or tree.
Oh, really?
I don't know if that's for true. Like somebody, one of the 6 people out there is probably like, that's not what it is. But I think it is it's the art of like dealing with not just that particular tree,
Yeah.
but growth and like miniaturizing it and, you know, making it, you know, what size you want.
Yeah.
So I don't think like bonsai is an actual tree. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But maybe he was totally full of
Maybe.
Maybe
shit.
he was just tricking
I
you
don't
to see
know.
how many people you'd tell.
Right, like all 6 of them out
When
there.
when they do the classes here, we'll have to come and check it out.
Come check it
Yeah, I mean,
out.
she was talking about it. I'm like, it seems pretty neat, but you know,
Yeah.
it's work, and like,
Oh, yeah.
apparently, you know, you'll kill it if you know you're not careful with it, I guess. But that's true with any plant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as long as you come in to plant it here, that's
Yeah,
whatever.
And
Whatever
drink the
happens
beer while
after
you're
that.
There's some plants I wouldn't mind. Yeah.
Hey,
I don't want
why
those.
not have
Plants. I
kind
don't
of
want those
classes?
plants small though.
No.
As big as they can be.
You know what's funny is recently I was working with another podcast out in Albany, wrestling podcast for a wrestling event they had going on there, and it was at the Times Union Center. What is it now? MVP?
You mean the Nick?
The Nick MVP.
I'm going to stick with the
Pepsi.
Nick. The Nick.
The Nick. Yeah.
That's
So
what
at the
I'm
Nick.
going with.
And there's a bar that's always been there, but so many places have come and gone. They like every business. It's good on the nights that they have events, but when they don't have events, it's just a ghost town down there. And you know, like I said, there's just been a revolving door of businesses down there. And I was talking to the one owner. He's like, "No, business is actually doing pretty good." And he's like, "We ran into the same problem that a lot of people run into, that when it was dead, it was dead. But then we started doing these events. We started coming up with all kinds of events.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it brings different crowds, different people, and it's really kept them afloat, kept them thriving. So
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, for an area that doesn't have a whole lot of traffic, events could be that
Yeah.
key to creating the traffic.
Absolutely.
I think people around here would always like something else to do too.
for sure.
You know, like it never hurts to have more options of
No.
things to do. And that's like one of my favorite things that I experience at breweries is like the ones in Colorado Springs. They just do so many different fun things, or they do like vendor markets, so you get to meet a lot of other small businesses and
Yeah.
things like that. And it's just a really good community feel. And that's really kind of one of the things we want to bring here to our brewery. So
Yeah.
one of our favorite breweries in Colorado Springs is kind of what we think about when we want to model things after. And they do so many things, like just in a crazy array of events. So it's kind of what we
What's
are
the name?
inspired by. It's Red Leg Brewing in Colorado Springs. Yeah.
You know, I noticed out here you were talking about, you know, you couldn't use the sidewalk, but are there a lot of residents here, or is this mostly like a business area?
There's a good amount of
There's
residents.
actually,
Residents?
yeah, quite a few residents.
I was
think.
wondering, what if you did like a block party?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We,
I mean, you end up like blocking off this part of the street, but I mean,
Yeah.
there's plenty of streets around to go around it, and I'm like, you really have from what I can see, you have a good location for that. You
yeah.
Is there going to be an
Nice wide
Oktoberfest in
street.
downtown?
Wouldn't
know,
that be
you
cool?
know, hey, you know, I mean, like,
We
you know,
have to
you
talk
do
to
what you
the
got to
city,
do.
but we actually talked about it with the bar over here, Rug City. We were over there the other day and we talked to them. We're like, we would love to get together like with you and Sharpshooters and do like a block party thing
Yeah.
and the other small businesses here. I mean, we'd have to talk to the city. I don't know how feasible it is, but they do other events down
Yep.
here where they have blocked off the street.
Yep.
So
And
Or
where
even
I
if it's a
was,
side one.
when I was in Schenectady, they were very open to that.
Yeah.
You know, you'd think, well, they're never going to let you do that. They were very open to it. They let
Yeah.
us do it consistently at least 2 or 3 times a year.
Yeah. And,
You know?
the city's been receptive about everything we've been talking about. And, like, we're going to the planning meeting later this month. And they're all pretty excited about it. So, I mean, I would hope they'd be open to it. I think so. They want to bring some life back to the downtown,
Absolutely.
too.
You know,
So I
foot
think,
traffic is
yeah.
very important. You know, it's, once you get the people down here, that's really the key. Then, and I think that's what we were talking about it earlier. That's a lot of what Schenectady was. You know, you want people to come down, and it's not just one thing. You know,
Yeah.
they're like,
Yeah.
we stopped in here, we liked it, but we're going to go check out this. Or
Yep.
we were at Proctor's, for example. Hey, we wanted to have a drink afterwards, so we
Yeah.
stopped here, stopped there. It's getting the people downtown, which is the big thing. And like the city should, that I'm saying what they should do, but they should be all over stuff like that.
Yeah.
You have a lot of, like you said, unoccupied buildings,
Yeah.
or places. I'm like, the more activity you get down here. I mean, it worked. Like I said, it worked in Schenectady
Yeah.
Yeah.
in terms of, you got the businesses there. Once you have the businesses there, you got the people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's risky, obviously.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
It's real risky, but it can work, and
Yeah.
places like that get saturated. Saratoga, Albany,
Yeah.
get people want to change.
Yeah.
And people would say, "Hey, listen, there's a block party down there. You check it out."
Yeah.
Next thing you know, like, "Oh, I didn't realize there was a pool room over there," or "I didn't realize you guys made beer." Normally, I stuck with whatever domestics
Yeah.
people got.
Right.
And Sam, you're right. It's a pretty big city. And is the walking bridge close to here? It's like the pedestrian bridge.
The pedestrian bridge on this side, which is like the really pretty one with the flowers,
Yeah.
and it says Amsterdam on it, that one goes to the park across the river. But the one that comes out of the mall does go across 5. So you can get to the park from there. So there's 2 pedestrian bridges. But, I mean,
So this downtown is not connected to right
that
over there.
pedestrian bridge, yeah.
So where that castle is, and then the road that comes right down, that's a pretty lively spot. They do like an Italian
yeah.
festival, other things like that. And the
South
city
side.
says they're going to connect these two, but have yet to do so.
So hopefully in the future,
Cross
Yeah.
your fingers.
technically you can get there from here, but it's a bit of a walk.
Yeah, it's a little bit of
Yeah.
a hike.
So
And you can get lost,
easily.
which is not what you want to do.
No, not at all.
Yeah. We're about at that halfway point. So I'm going to take a quick little break,
Okay.
and then we'll come back.
All right.
Check. Oh, there we are. We're back. Bathroom break is over. All right. So we've talked about your past. We've talked a little bit about your future. I know you got a lot on your plate right now. Presently, you guys are thinking about opening on July 4th weekend, or July 4th itself.
July
Yep.
4th itself, yep.
Yep.
A big old party.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Block party.
Yeah. I don't know if we can get it happening that quick, but
We'll just do it anyway.
yeah,
Yeah.
just put up your own
Don't block,
barriers.
don't block anything up.
cones
Just go out there.
down.
Yeah.
Just go stand in the road.
I thought we could drink out here.
yeah. Just hold up beers, like,
Actually,
Who
there
wants
might
one?
the rules from COVID might still be in effect.
oh.
really?
I don't know if they repealed a lot of that. You might get away with actually
Walking
having-
around with drinks.
walking around with drinks outside.
Yeah.
I would love to get shut down on our first day open.
Great reputation.
that was quick.
It would be awesome. The bad boys.
So tell us
We
about.
opened a bar. We got shut down our first day. We're
Instantly.
awesome.
Yeah.
We opened the door and then they locked it right back on us. What's the festivities look like for that day?
So we're going to be open from 2 to 9, most likely. We're kind of so we're going to have the 4 beers, and then we'll hopefully have some other local drinks like ciders or wine and that kind of thing by that time. We're doing a 4th of July costume contest. So
nice.
the whole time that you're going to be here, we're going to take Polaroid pictures of the people here, and then Colin and I will pick at the end of the night who we thought the best outfit was, and they'll win a prize. To be determined what that is, but probably
Definitely swag.
Definitely
yeah.
beer.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably beer. And then we're gonna have the Megabytes food truck, and then we'll probably have one other game happening at that point. But I still need to plan that. So,
Do we see music in the future here?
well, we have that Nice speaker over there. I don't know. There has been some people who have reached out to us on Facebook for like live music and
Nice.
DJ and stuff like that.
Like open mic or like a guitar.
Yeah. We have a lot of options, so we're trying to kind of line up what events we want to do. We've got a lot in our brains and a lot of offers, so we need to sit down and kind of plan out exactly what we want to do. But we want to do all kinds of events, so I imagine music's going to be here at some point.
Those are all good problems to have.
Yeah.
Now, if you were like, oh, let's do music, but there's nobody to reach out to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, the community has really been really receptive of the brewery, and we've had a lot of positive like feedback of people who are excited, people who would want to work with us. Just kind of the whole thing's been really positive, which is really great because Facebook isn't always positive. So
True. And I know exactly how scary the beginning is, and then once you start getting close, and then you get a lot of people come out like, hey, let's partner up, let's do this, let's do that, and it ends up turning out where they just want you to give them something, and then you eventually start to boil it down to the people that are really going to help you grow, and you're going to help them grow and do that kind of stuff. So I know exactly what you guys are going through right now. Yeah,
so be patient with us if you've reached out. There's been a lot of people reaching out, so.
Do you have
I'm curious. This is now not the same subject, but a little bit off. What's your guys' favorite beer?
My favorite beer is free beer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Free beer tomorrow.
Never had one I didn't like.
Yeah, neither of us are too picky, but some of my favorites are sours. I like sours a lot, which isn't always a popular one, so I have fun trying those. I really like nitro beers, so pretty much anything on nitro.
Okay, I don't mean to interrupt
No,
you,
go
but
ahead.
I'm curious because you mentioned nitro for several of the beers. Now, we have a podcast, but I'm not really familiar with the nitro, the whole situation. Could you maybe give me an idea of why and what the benefits are?
Okay. So back in the day, you had cask ale, right? Before kegs. So before kegs, every beer was served from a cask and it was pulled through the handle.
Yep.
Okay. And so the mouthfeel of those beers were very similar to nitro. Nitro was invented to replicate that.
So those beers are, those are naturally carbonated
beer.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure that most places now add at the end of it, to get it where
Some
you want.
do, some,
Yeah.
Depending.
For I'm just using like a lot of them do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you were attempting to replicate a style that was kind of an original style.
Correct. And if you go to the grocery store, you don't see many nitro beers, right? You see maybe the Guinness, maybe a Bellhaven, Boddington's, right? Those are three of the beers that I've seen on nitro recently. So one of our value propositions of like why you should come here, why you should spend $7 is because I put something crazy on nitro and you can't get it anywhere else.
You can't taste that anywhere else, so.
Yeah.
It's got that, like we talk about, like the velvety feel.
Yes. Oh,
It's
yes,
very
definitely.
smooth,
Because
like-
of the smaller bubbles
Bubbles,
that gives it a smooth feel.
Yeah.
So that you have to run a separate system, like a CO2 system, for
Yeah.
example.
Can you grab that black little thing up there? So
And now you're going to run all of them through nitro or just some? So you'll have to have
just
both.
some.
Okay, that's fine. I just, out of curiosity.
So this is going to make for a great podcast, but this is our nitro infuser, right?
Okay.
So you have your gas line in and then your two beer lines in. And this adjusts the amount of nitro on each one, and then it gets infused with the nitrogen and then comes out as a nitrogen
Okay,
beer.
now may I see it for a second?
Huh?
Okay, I see. This one here is where the nitro goes in.
Correct.
These are where the beer goes in.
Correct.
This is the beer coming out. Nitro is obviously going into it. All right, this is it, huh?
Yeah.
For everybody out there, it's a probably
took a
like
photo.
a 12-inch by 2-inch black box that says nitro infuser.
Yeah.
The nitro
It's probably
infuser.
super expensive.
It is. There is a reason we're not doing all our beers on nitro.
Yeah.
So that you would just put this on the ones you want to do nitro, and you don't have to. So you're running a regular CO2 system.
Well, so
Essentially.
to push it out, we use the nitrogen too. But
Okay.
Up until it gets kegs, it's just like our regular beers. We carbonate it to a lower level, just for the absorption of the nitrogen. It works better.
Okay, so that you like you say, you use less. There's less CO2 in the beer, so because you know you're going to be adding nitrogen.
Exactly.
All right, see, I had no idea.
The science of beer is kind of crazy, isn't it?
It is very
Yeah.
crazy. And now, the advantage of this, it's not really a taste change. It's just basically feel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Look, it's going to be a smoother beer.
Smooth, yeah. That's why it's one of my favorites. I feel like any beer, when you drink it on nitro, is just so smooth and nice.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, you missed when 7 Points did their English bitter nitro. That was so good.
Oh, unbelievable! It's unfortunate that I quit drinking. I really don't even get a chance to. I don't really get a chance anymore. It's a bummer, especially for this job.
Yeah.
You know.
But yeah, so
You'll have to come here and try some of our other fermented drinks.
Well, also, like for this, I'll taste beer. I'll have beers,
Yeah.
but for the most part,
do you want a sample?
I'm pretty sure I had that.
I know.
I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
there is a really big sober movement going on, though, and especially people who come to breweries as well. They
There is.
they want other options, and especially because we want to have such a community feel. I think it's important,
I know. I may have. I noticed it obviously because I quit. But a couple of my friends also quit, and I don't generally drink non-alcoholic beer. Not for no reason. I like beer. I
Yeah.
like the taste of it. I just generally don't.
Yeah.
But a couple of my friends have really gotten into the non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah.
And now, like I said, maybe it's because I quit that I notice it more. But when I was in the bar, I didn't have a whole lot of people asking me. Now I notice that when I'm in places with my friends, that there's a lot of people asking for that.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I think there's a very big movement of, and when people quit, like let's say for example, my friends, they didn't quit going out to
Exactly. You
bars
still
and restaurants.
You still need somewhere to go to hang
social.
out with people.
They want to
Yeah.
socialize, and I realize now that wow, I think there really is a big market for something like that.
Absolutely.
Especially like even somebody who is drinking but doesn't feel like drinking.
Exactly.
Or has got to drive, or has got to deal with
Yep.
children, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they want to meet their friends after work or
Yep.
pop in and say hello or whatever, and there's an opportunity to have a beer with a friend that you're not really getting alcohol. And I see that trend, and
Yeah.
you guys have certainly picked up on that trend.
Yeah. I have like a similar story because I wanted to stop drinking as much as I used to, but people, when they ask you to go out, it's almost exclusively somewhere with alcohol.
Yeah, it's going to be
So
a big part of it.
if I'm like, well, I don't want to drink, and they're like, well, we want to drink, it's kind of hard to go to the same place because there's not a lot of options. So I noticed a lot of the same things. So we would end up going to the breweries in Colorado Springs that had a lot of non-alcoholic options or non-alcoholic beers, and it was just such a good compromise. Like, I still got to go and support the business, even though I didn't want to drink as much. And they still got, business, and
And just for designated drivers alone.
Exactly.
That's just that one thing alone. It's
absolutely.
a big deal.
Yeah. And I think a lot of businesses, or at least where we came from, a lot of businesses were really starting to understand that there was a big sober movement going on. So there were a lot more options coming up, a lot more mocktails and non-alcoholic drinks. So that's kind of, one of the things we want to bring here.
Yeah, it doesn't bode well for bars when people are stopped drinking.
Yeah,
I tell you.
I know.
It's not a good sign.
They're going to have to pivot.
Yeah, they're going to have to do something.
Yeah.
So you guys obviously did some research when you guys moved out here and hitting up some of the local breweries. Any highlights that stick out to you guys?
We really loved Stump City. We
Okay.
like to go there. I think, one of the great things about them is they have a huge community feel. Like, we also enjoy the beer, which is great too, but the first time we went there, they talked to us for 3 hours.
Yeah.
There was very few people there, so we got to drink and hang out with the owners and talk to them for 3 hours. They gave us a little tour of the back, and
Oh, nice.
we were like, hopefully someday we'll open one.
Yeah.
So Stump City's been really great. We like Wolfhollow too. I think they make good beers. So
Yeah.
we've gone to
nice,
their
nice area too.
yeah, the outside seating is beautiful.
Yeah.
We've gone to their trivia, and I like that they always have a food truck there.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, they do a good job of
So
it.
easy.
yeah.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah, I think Eisenadler, they're very German, which I like it because the one of the owners, she was in Germany as a kid. Her dad taught at one of the international schools, and she really just brought that Bavarian feel right to, upstate New York.
So Eisenadler, where's I'm not.
So if you just keep going down 5
Okay.
until I don't really remember.
They're
what city
in
it is.
Montgomery County, though,
They're
Okay.
the only other brewery in Montgomery County.
if that helps.
I'll check it out. I know Stump City.
Yeah.
I've been there. So, they do a big thing on Halloween. And
Yes.
Ice and Adler. I didn't know. Yeah, I'll definitely
Yeah.
check them out.
Yeah, they're doing a fundraiser for the SPCA.
Okay.
So if you want to drink for a
soon,
cause,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They do a Oktoberfest as well. We went last year?
No, we haven't been actually.
Oh, we missed it.
Yeah.
But they do one.
Yeah.
They had that event.
Now, New York mountains are much, 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 much older than the Colorado Rockies.
And smaller.
I thought that's where he was going. I thought he was going to say smaller, and I was like, yes.
So it's a different landscape than what you see out in Colorado. Have you had the opportunity to go up into the Adirondacks, go hiking, go camping, enjoying that stuff?
Not really.
No?
We haven't been taking advantage of the outdoors here yet.
Well, it didn't snow very much this
Yeah.
winter, and we were gonna go
Terrible.
snowboarding.
I know. We were going to go snowboarding.
Um,
Didn't snow that
Terrible.
much.
yeah.
Don't feel bad. Like, it was one of the worst winters
Yeah.
that we've had in, like,
Last year's weather was just
was
horrible.
just if you're looking for, like,
Yeah.
outdoor,
Mm-hmm.
snow stuff.
Yeah.
It rained all last year, and then it finally, when it got cold, it snowed like once or twice, and then
Yeah.
it still rained. My property's still all mud from all the water. It's just insane. But yeah, no, it's definitely if you get the opportunity, definitely check it out.
Yeah. We've been to the Great Sacandaga Lake, so we've been to some restaurants along there, and then we took our kayak out there with our dogs. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was actually curious, not just the Adirondacks, but I mean, like, what type of things did you know that, I don't know if they impress you, but like that stand out in this area that you not necessarily don't have in Colorado, but like that you're like, man, that's cool. That's a pretty cool thing.
Well, this is related to the brewery, but I don't know if a lot of people know it, but the New York Farm Brewery
Yep.
license is like you have to get now 90% of your ingredients from New York. So I think it's really cool that it's created like this small economy here of like, okay, well now someone has to make the malt, now someone has to grow the grains, now someone has to do all these things which are supporting a lot of small businesses here. So we went down to Hudson Valley Malt recently. And it was just really impressive because they do everything by hand there.
Yeah.
And they take a lot of time on their grains, and they're very particular in how they do it. And I just thought it was so cool. So that's not really, I mean, we weren't huge into like the, what do you call it? Logistics of brewing in Colorado. But I mean, now that we're looking into it here, I'm like, this is really a cool thing that props up a lot of small businesses.
And this is like where American hops really started.
Yeah.
I mean, the British brought them over, and this is the place that they just grew the best. It kind of went by the wayside as, became less popular.
There's two things that, like, the listeners probably didn't hear our conversation earlier. You use literally 100% of New York ingredients in your beer.
Well, 90%.
Okay,
That's what we're required is
Yeah,
90, but yes.
But for the most part, and I think that's like I said, I think that's a good selling point
Yeah.
Agreed.
of people being, hey, I heard of this place, and they're big New York supporters, and
Yeah.
they have all the grains.
Absolutely.
And I think and I think the listeners would certainly be interested in knowing that. And the other thing that's along those lines. I don't know much about the history of New York beer. I probably should, but I think along those lines, like Anheuser-Busch, as far as I know, got their start here in New York.
Yeah.
I think they still have the home over there in Cooperstown. I don't know if you knew this.
I haven't been down that way.
Well,
but
Cooperstown, I'm sure you're familiar with Cooperstown. The Baseball Hall of Fame's there.
Armageddon.
baseball?
We're not familiar with a lot of the geography here
Well,
yet.
no, I'm just talking like you've heard it. Like I'm not saying where you know where it
No,
is,
no,
but
I've
you've
never
heard
heard
of
of that.
Cooper. No, never heard
Nope,
of the
never heard of that.
Baseball Hall of Fame.
Nope.
Okay,
We don't hear about those things in Colorado.
I'm actually
I'm kidding.
that knowledge blows me away that you didn't know Cooperstown was a Baseball Hall of Fame. But anyway, I believe the Bush family still has a massive, I don't know, compound.
Estate, yeah.
Estate. That's a great word. Estate. And I believe it's there because of the fact that they were growing right in this area.
Yeah.
Their hops, right? I believe
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
Their hops, and it was a big deal. I mean, obviously they moved out to wherever, St. Louis is where they are now. But I'm pretty sure that, one of the biggest breweries in the world got their start right there in the Cooperstown area.
It's really cool. I think the history of it's cool. I think it's awesome that because hops grow so well here and like grains and stuff, they've the guy from Hudson Valley Malt was telling us so much about like how they've engineered the grains to grow really well here, and I just think it's cool because it's really an agricultural area around here. So so many farms and stuff are being supported, and we just get to bring their great products and then make great beer from it, which I'm excited about.
Which encourages more farms to grow better barley.
Yep.
And it's almost
And
a cycle.
more. Yeah.
Yep. So
I
that's
have a friend Dan who works at one of those places, and I don't know if it's Hudson Valley Malt or not. So I'm like, I want to give him a shout out, but I don't
do
know
it
if
anyway,
that's the
who
one he
cares?
works at.
Well, there
Just
is
do
a
it.
Dan on the bag of Hudson Valley Malt. So
Dan
might be-
Salisbury is his name.
Just do it. Doesn't matter.
All
You'll
right.
be fine.
Shout out to Dan Salisbury.
There you go. See? What would that look? No big deal.
I'm gonna look it up, see if it's his face on the bag.
Oh, boy.
But one of the kind of funnier things that we enjoy about here is just how much it rains and how green everything is. I mean, I spent a long time in Colorado, and I think people might have the perception that it's really green there, but half of the state is just like a high desert, and so pretty brown for all the listeners out
I
there.
was also amazed when I was in Colorado
Yeah.
about that. Like
Yeah.
how deserty it
It's
was.
very-
Deserty, it's not even a word.
Prairie.
But it's more desert. Well, I think a lot of it is actually classified as a high desert, so high altitude desert, which it is surprising because I think a lot of people's pictures of Colorado in their mind is just all mountains.
Green mountains.
yeah.
Green covered mountains.
Half
yeah.
the state
Or
is not
snow
that.
covered.
yeah.
So we moved here, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it rains so much. We like to garden, so we don't have to water our garden hardly ever. It's amazing. We have to actually mow our grass now, though, so that's kind of a
Yep.
trade-off there.
Once a week. Get out there.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Surely as night falls day.
yes, my most culture shock thing when I got here was ticks. So ticks aren't really that much of an issue in Colorado, and they also hardly ever carry Lyme disease in Colorado. And here, we moved here, and not even 24 hours later, our dog had a tick on him, like a big one. I was like, you must have gotten that the second you stepped in this yard.
You know,
I got a lot of ticks.
And I don't. We do, but growing up, I didn't really.
Yeah, they weren't as
wasn't,
bad.
It wasn't
No.
like that.
Well-
No, like it wasn't like that at all. I mean, like I didn't start worrying about ticks until I was like in my 30s, maybe even later. It wasn't even a
Yeah.
issue. Honestly, I never had one until I probably had the first one like at 40.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so it wasn't really.
I got my
it
first
wasn't-
one going. I'm the only one I ever had. Yeah, why do I have to go and say that? In the pine bush.
Yeah, I mean, like they weren't a big deal until the
Yeah.
last 10 years
Yeah.
or so. I'm going to say.
Well,
This-
it didn't get as cold over the winter, so they're not dying off as much.
Yep.
So
But also, like, they weren't that big of a deal that much either. And
yeah.
No, never. I
But
mean, never. My mom was like, never like, oh, watch out for ticks. I mean, never.
so Lyme disease comes from Lyme, Connecticut, I think, or is Lyme something. It's a town.
I think you're right.
Yeah. And apparently, there's a research site there that was messing around with
Oh,
making diseases and invented the deer tick, or not the deer tick, but the Lyme disease, and it got to the deer ticks, and the deer ticks got to the
Regular.
and it just exploded from there.
thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Connecticut.
Jerks.
That's why it's called Lyme disease.
That's interesting.
I can't remember if it was Vermont or Connecticut.
I'm pretty sure I've heard that story
Yeah,
before.
New Hampshire.
Yeah.
It's one of the
Yeah, yeah.
New England.
Yeah.
No, you know. So, but there is dog ticks, and they are big. The bigger deer ticks, you don't really have to worry about. It's the little baby, the microscopic ones. And then if you end up with a little bullseye on you, you got to go to the doctor and take some
Yeah.
antibiotics.
Yeah.
I was really stressed out about it when I moved here, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to be less stressed out about it.
You know, if you get one, they're fairly easy to remove.
Yeah.
Like you just got to check yourself, and like there's a little tool that they make that works really good.
Yeah.
Needle nose players alone.
I've
Yeah.
already gotten one, sadly.
Have you really?
Yes. I like to be in the yard a lot.
Me too.
Me too. And
Yeah.
I'm lucky. Yeah.
I've been lucky. Jeez, knock on wood. Knock on wood. I mean,
My
Jesus.
record is not good so far.
Oh my God! These people come into town. Next thing they're attacked by ticks. Great, awesome. Don't tell anybody
They
in
can't
Colorado.
get to you in the brewery, so you're safe here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard they're allergic to beer, so
There we go.
yeah, drink up.
Chug a lug. But yeah, and I just I like if I have people over. I have a friend of mine. He owns it's a turf farmer, and what they do is fertilization of your lawn and stuff like that. Does like lawn care. Doesn't really like mow or anything, but one of his things he does is he fogs for like ticks.
Oh.
So if I have a bunch of people over and it's healthy, I have dogs. So
Yeah,
you know,
that's good.
Yeah. So Shout out to Jesse at
I want to say chickens. Having chickens is good.
Yeah.
probably. Yeah, they eat a
Oh,
lot of bugs.
I've heard that like if you have chickens in your yard and you let them out,
Yeah.
Oh,
will,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
they will literally like comb the entire yard.
Yeah.
And they will find them and they will find them and eat them.
I have thought about getting some.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, to be honest with you, like, yeah, I've heard that like if you get chickens,
I have two
Yeah.
drawbacks
They will
to
take
getting,
care of that.
to getting chickens. The other animals that I have that
Yeah,
live in
they wouldn't last.
I have Fisher cats. Not Fisher cats. Are they? Yeah, Fisher cats.
Oh, what's a fisher cat?
It's like it's a small little animal.
Kind of like a weasel.
Oh,
And
a
it's
Like
fisher.
like a badger.
Yeah, it screams like a baby.
Wait, hold on a minute. A fisher is an animal that's like the
fisher
like
cat.
almost like I've never heard the fisher cat part of it.
Yeah, it's black.
But
They're
a
like
fisher
gray.
is, and they look like a big weasel. I want to say
That's how I
they're kind of long.
interpret them. Yeah.
Yeah, and they can
But-
be real nasty.
Yeah, those are
Yeah.
those are the same. Fisher and fisher
And I
cat.
think people trap them for their pelts. I want to say there's that P word.
I
Yeah.
think that people have trapped every animal for pelts
that's
at
true.
this point.
That's true. Probably even rats. But yeah,
But they scream like babies.
I've never heard that.
Oh, it's
I've
insane.
seen one. I've seen one like
Like-
crossing the road. They're like low.
Yeah,
and-
they salt. Well, they salt. They do
yeah.
like this slinky
Yep,
move.
Yep, absolutely.
But like I've had people at my house, and all of a sudden you hear like this baby in the woods in the middle of the night just start
Oh, no.
screaming. Like, "Wah!" And you're like,
Are you serious?
I'm
I've never
dead
heard
serious.
that. Jesus, move out of there. God.
Yeah.
But they. So we also have like this a nest of turkeys, big turkeys. But sometimes the fisher will get into it, and it like rips their heads off and drinks their blood and just lines their bodies
Wait,
up.
you just
all
made
nice.
that up.
I'm dead serious.
No, you're not.
I'm dead serious.
You just wait.
because you'll see
You're
them.
telling me that a fisher was like a serial killer.
Yes.
And like propped up
Yes.
dead turkeys.
Yes.
You're making that.
I'm not. I'm
Come
dead
on.
serious.
He's
you can ask
also part
Jess.
vampire. It
I wanna
sounds
see,
like.
It's
I wanna,
insane.
Wait, I want to see photo. I want to see photo evidence of this.
I might actually
nonsense.
have photo evidence.
I mean, turkeys are pretty tough. I mean, like you don't want to mess with
Yeah,
a turkey. man.
I know.
Dude, seriously, you don't
Like,
want to mess with a turkey.
3 or 4 of them just lined up, all nice and neat.
Come on.
I'm dead serious.
I mean, it's shenanigans.
I'm serious.
That's what I'm
Shenanigans.
calling.
So I'm
right
afraid to
now.
get chickens for that reason. Also,
Chickens are also vicious.
you can't like leave them. Like you can't just leave for the day. Like I can't go on. Like you have to have somebody come and watch them. Like if you go on
the
vacation,
chickens?
yeah.
What are they going to do? Like get into your fridge and stuff?
No, you gotta like feed them. You
Like
gotta
your
let them
beer?
out. You gotta get them back in. You gotta
Just leave them out in the yard.
Yeah, they eat ticks.
Yeah,
Leave 'em out.
they're not hungry.
You come home, you won't have any left. I have foxes. I got bears.
You got a fence.
I got this serial killer fisher cat that
I mean,
screams like a
apparently,
baby in the woods.
You got like this.
It is pretty hard to keep chickens
like Son of
alive.
Sam
I
Yes.
will say,
Yes. And
yeah.
then the attachment that you get to him, like, oh, there's
Yeah.
little Sally.
Eating all my ticks.
Yeah. And then the next day you're like, there's Sally, there's Sally,
No,
there's Sally,
no.
there's Sally. Pieces of her all
You know,
over the place.
It's going to happen. Chickens will get. No, that'll happen. They'll get chickens, but I mean, like, I don't think that you got to worry about them. Like, like you don't need a babysitter for your chickens.
You know what I'm okay with? I'm okay with going to the store and buying eggs. I'm not okay with just grabbing an egg from. Like I have friends that have chickens. They're like, "Here, you want our eggs?" I'm like, "No, man, that's gross." Came out of
What
that
are you
thing.
talking about? They're delicious. Have you had farm fresh
I
eggs?
have. I just.
Oh my god! They're
I don't know why
amazing
it grosses
compared
me
to-
out.
Compared to eggs from a market.
I'll go get Eggland's Best all day long.
Oh no, I admit those are pretty good. I will admit Egglands are good, but dude, there's nothing like a farm fresh egg. They're amazing.
And you know where I live? Out in farm country. Everybody's
We're
got
in the
eggs.
middle of nowhere out there. Yeah, go to your
There's
neighbors and steal them.
there's quite a diverse kind of animal population here.
Yes,
a lot
there
of
is.
animals I haven't seen because I spent pretty much all my life in Colorado. When I moved here, I was like, "What is that thing?"
Yeah.
And it was a groundhog. I've never thought about groundhogs a day in my life. Like
Yeah.
I barely even thought they were real. Like I had never thought about groundhogs in my life.
Woodchuck.
Yeah, that's what you
That's
guys
how-
call them.
I didn't even know what the hell a groundhog was. I always thought it was a woodchuck.
Yeah.
My dad always called it a woodchuck. When somebody's like, "It's Groundhog Day," I'm like, "What's a groundhog?" They're like, "A woodchuck." I'm like,
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I have never seen one of those till our neighbor's dog killed one.
I saw one
So-
2 days
Oh,
ago.
I saw one today.
I think there's one under our shed, so they're
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, they're not awesome for your yard. Just a
No.
little advice there. You don't want them in your yard.
Well,
At my house, there's like so downstairs in my basement, I've got like kind of like a game room. It's got like a bar, it's the TV. I got surround sound, and I've got like the basement windows. So I was down there the other day, like watching TV or whatever, Jess was upstairs watching a movie, and I look up and there's just a groundhog like this, like looking.
Like wanting to get in. Like
He's like, is
it's
this my new
winter time.
home?
Yeah.
Then a couple.
Winter, it's cold outside.
A week before that, this little baby bunny. I've never seen squirrels out at my house.
Oh.
And there was a little brown
We're all in
one.
the city.
Yeah.
Gray squirrel. I've
We
seen
can
brown.
transfer some to you if you want some.
Yeah, I got plenty at my house if you want.
I had this little brown squirrel hanging out by that one window. All the wildlife just comes in. It's like
They must know
I'm in the
something,
zoo. They're like, hey, go check that guy out. He's just sitting there watching the wall.
They're talking about you. What's this guy doing?
The groundhog's just like.
He's trapped in there.
And it's funny because she's my fiance. She plant ferns, so like in the winter you can see out, but in the summertime they're all tall and you can't see. But there's like a little row, and all these animals run.
That's cute.
Yeah.
They're peering through.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Like, hey, dummy.
You don't want, and also you don't want red squirrels.
No, is that what maybe it is? I'm colorblind.
I don't know. I bet apparently they're very nasty. They drive all the gray squirrels out.
Oh yeah, we have no gray squirrels.
Yeah, well that's why.
Yeah.
You got red
You got red
squirrels.
squirrels.
Yeah, I got one.
And I'm
little
like,
one.
what's the listeners are probably like, he's full of shit. But no, I'm pretty sure it's true.
Yeah. Well. So what else have you guys enjoyed about New York?
Our house.
Your house?
It's awesome. I know. We talk about it way too much. We love our house that we bought.
Yeah, just in the yard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've made some great friends here. We went and played, I went and played volleyball at the park across from our street last summer and made a bunch of friends. So
Nice.
that was really cool. I like that people like to do a lot of outdoor stuff here. I mean, people like to do it in Colorado too, but it's just nice to also have that like similar community here. Like people like to go outdoors and play volleyball or go do this, go play pickleball, like whatever, you know. I like being outside, so
Yeah.
I mean, you got the river right there.
I know.
True.
I've never. There's also not very many big bodies of water in Colorado. So I'm like, wow, you guys just have water wherever you want it, huh? Must be
Yeah.
nice.
Yes, there are a lot of lakes.
Yeah.
You definitely should take advantage of it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of lakes, you know. I mean, a lot of outdoor stuff, but there's a lot of lakes that are close by too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
They're a
trying to
short
take
drive.
advantage of it more. We got a
Second Dog is
kayak.
pretty awesome.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's a big
Yeah.
lake. It's one of the bigger ones.
We rented a boat for when my friends are coming to visit soon. Neither of us have driven a boat, so
Piece of cake. Don't worry.
It's a pontoon.
Just
a
remember,
pontoon
there's no
boat.
brakes.
Nice.
no brakes.
No brakes.
Brakes.
Brakes. Yeah.
That's the most important thing about boating. There are
True.
no brakes.
Yeah.
It's a reverse, but that takes a minute.
Yeah, don't count on that. Trust me, I've learned
Me
many
too.
times. Yeah.
People have scared me a little bit. They're like, the Great Second Dog Lake has a lot of like ups and downs in the ground, so you don't want to scrape the boat. And I'm like, maybe we'll just go out to one spot, park, and just swim, and then go back.
Yeah,
You got to
they-
worry about that late in the year usually.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a
lot of-
man-made
A lot of
lake.
it's marked.
Is
yeah.
it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's a reservoir.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. I didn't
Yeah,
know
you
You
should
should,
be
go down,
farmland.
you should go down and see the dam.
Have we? I don't.
It's
think
all the
so.
way down in Conklinville. It's up
Yeah.
near,
Oh,
near
okay.
Hadley. It's
Okay.
it's at the one end.
okay.
It was a river. I mean,
Yeah.
It wrapped around and they dammed it up and it
Turned into a
created
man
the
lake.
reservoir.
That's
Yeah.
cool though.
Have you been to Great Second Dog Brewing?
We have, yeah. We went there too. We went for trivia once, and then we went for live music once. Yeah, we enjoyed it.
Is that the one right on the corner, like 29 and 30?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I've tried to talk to them a couple times, but
Well,
Maybe they don't like us.
I guess not.
Maybe they listen to it.
Yeah. Like, forget those guys.
I was there for a car show once.
Yeah.
It's they're a pretty good location, in terms of crossroads, but they're like kind of like they're not taking advantage of the water at all.
Yeah.
That's true.
You know,
Yeah.
not
do
that I'm
have-
saying that's bad,
They
but
have some outdoor seating, like,
Yeah.
but yeah, they're not.
Yeah.
and they're right on that stream right there. I
Yeah.
don't even know the name of that stream, but
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good time. I wouldn't really too much about the boat. You guys should be fine with the boat, but like, we do
don't
have-
worry about hitting stuff.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
But there is a
If you
lot
say
of
that
lakes,
now, they'll
like-
probably blow it up.
I know. I'm gonna come back next time and be like, so I wrecked their boat.
I'm actually trying
to pay for the whole boat.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look for a plate. Like I would like a even if it's like a property where you could build like a small little
dock.
house or something.
Yeah.
A dock and like a small little I don't know, something like maybe get a pop up trailer you drive up there
Yeah.
on the weekends and just kind of like a little camp. And I was just surprised. Like I'm like, oh, there's a nice little plot of land that's not too expensive. I'm like, where's this? 16 miles from my house. I've never heard of this lake.
Yeah.
It is interesting here because like most of the big bodies of water in Colorado are public property, so
Yeah.
you can go like wherever and get in the water. It's not really a huge deal. And we drove up to the Great Sacandaga, and I'm like, where do you get in the water? Everybody owns like every piece of water,
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
piece of land around the water. Where do you go? I don't know.
There's boat launches, yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and there's some public beaches.
Yeah, there's yep.
Yeah,
We found them
Northville,
eventually.
Northville.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sports Island Pub has a public beach right
Yeah,
there.
and, Vandenberg Point's got a
Yeah.
big public beach.
Yeah, my buddy's got a camp. I know a bunch of people who got camps on there.
Yeah. There's a lot of good restaurants over there too, which
Yeah.
is cool.
Yeah,
you can go
Lanzy's.
eat
Yep.
on the
Sport Isle.
lake. It's fun. Makes me want
Yes.
to buy my own boat though, so I
you
can like boat
you,
up.
You
and
can, you know, I've
Yeah.
done it. You can drive around. You know, I mean, there's not a ton of them, but you know, you drive right up, you dock. They got a dock space for you. It's great. You go in and eat, go back
Yeah.
out on the water.
Are there any
It's
docks right
pretty
here?
cool.
There's
There's
there's a
gotta be.
restaurant across the street, like
There's gotta be.
by the park, Riverlink Park.
Yeah.
I think you can dock there, and there's a restaurant that's open during the summer. So
No, it'd be fun. Is like so. I have my boat. I want to get that on. I actually want to put it on the river. I don't want to put it on the lake.
Oh, the sailboat.
Yeah, the sailboat. But I'm not going to use the sail. I'm just going to
Okay,
use the
yeah,
motor.
I was gonna say it's not. Rivers are tough for boats.
Yeah,
for sailboats.
sailboats. Yeah, well, it has a retractable keel, so the keel
Okay.
goes right up in. So
Yep.
I don't have to worry about I don't have to
Yep,
have the keel
banging off, yep.
Yeah. So long story short is like I want to I want to throw it in at like Indian Head and be able to go down to like Jumpin' Jacks or down to Druthers or come up here and
Well, you can't from here to Jumpin' Jacks. There's a lock.
yeah, you go through the lock.
Yeah.
That's what. So
You can only do that like certain times. You can't like just decide you're gonna do it.
no, you can buy a pass and
Yeah.
yeah.
But like if it was like nighttime, you're not. You know.
No, they close at like 7 or
Yeah.
whatever.
I was gonna say there's
yeah.
like hours.
No, yeah, I wasn't. Yeah.
midnight, I'd like to go through
Yeah.
the dock.
Yeah, right.
No.
I'm gonna go for a night cruise. No, you're not.
The
Unless you
on-
jump the dam.
Yeah, I have like an 11 horsepower like onboard motor. It would take me forever to get here anyway.
Take you half an hour just to get to
my,
the lock.
like a day trip for me is like literally going to Druthers. So I'd get there at like 11, and maybe I get
Yeah.
back at 5.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's the one tough thing about the river too
Yeah.
is like you pretty much have like from lock to lock to drive up and down unless you
Yeah.
really want to deal with going through the lock, which is kind of a process. I mean, it's not that it's not doable, but dealing with the lock is kind of a process.
I've gone through the locks and stuff. My dad's also got his boat too. His boat is a much bigger, faster boat than mine.
Yeah.
And I've gone all the way from here down to water. He did a competition. Yeah, it's like a tugboat competition. Though he doesn't have a tugboat, but he won like some kind of award for having like the most, I don't know, whatever kind of boat. But it was down in Waterford.
Oh yeah, down where it gets into the Hudson.
right to the Hudson. Yeah,
Yeah.
right at that little.
Yep.
And
There's a whole bunch of locks in a row right there. I forget what it's called, but
Yeah. There's like 5, 6 of them.
Five, I believe.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
went through all. We came out, like I said, all the way up to here, and that took only a couple hours. But if I did that in my boat, it would take me like 2 days.
Oh yeah, like my dad's gone out west to like Rochester.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it takes
Oh, yeah.
days.
That's-
Like it doesn't take like
There's
a
people-
day. It
you know,
takes
there's-
like several.
There's people who will put their boat in here and they'll go all the way out to Rochester,
Yeah.
the Great Lakes, the Mississippi,
Yeah,
down the Mississippi,
yeah.
into
Loop
the
into the Gulf.
right into the Gulf,
Come
and
right
then
up
up
the-
the East Coast.
Well, yeah, 'cause
Into the
get
Hudson River.
You got the east, the intercoastal waterway.
Yeah, but you got to be rich. You got to have a nice boat
You don't
and
have
a
to-
lot of time.
You got to have a lot of money for gas. Is what you got to have a lot of money for.
Yeah, I can't. How do you? That's got to take like 6 months.
Oh, yeah, it would take a while.
Yeah.
A long while. You'd have to. I mean, just like my dad told me what the gas cost. Like when he
Yeah.
had his boat, he had a big boat, like your dad's probably. It was like
It's got a big diesel engine.
$2,000 to fill the tank.
Yes. He's got multiple
And
tanks.
he's like, that will get you maybe to New York City. from here."
no, thank you.
Yeah,
I was like,
no,
pass.
thank you.
Speaking about your kayak, though,
Uh-huh.
there's places definitely up in the Onondaga, especially between like Lake Placid and Saranac Lake. I used to go to Moose Pond, but unfortunately, last couple of years it's gotten really busy. But we would take our kayaks, and there's like campsites that you can only get to by kayak.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you have to like.
Those are the best campsites.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
But now you get up there and you can ride around the pond or the lake or whatever, and they could all be taken. And then
Oh,
you
wow.
but you can make your own, but it's rough. Like you got to go and clear out brush
Yeah.
and do all kinds of stuff. And but yeah, there's some places, still some hidden gems up there if you find
Yeah.
it.
Well, if you guys are campers, there's a lot of camping.
Yeah.
We want to do some more camping. I've never really been a big camper, but he likes camping.
I like to camp in the spring, kind of like before the bugs.
Yeah, right now.
Once you hit
worst
summer,
time
it's
right now.
not
Well,
really for me.
you deal with you'll deal with them from June into like 4th of July. Usually after 4th of July, it starts tailing off a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you
Those
don't have
are
to.
the-
It's not like all summer.
Those are
Yeah.
the warmer months too, which is right up my alley because I don't like sleeping outside in the cold.
Well, I mean, there's
So no
lots
winter
of-
camping?
Yeah,
No,
right.
no way.
like
I don't blame you. It's kind of cold.
I
like
like
it.
my house with a nice heater.
But there's a lot of you don't have to just tent camp.
yeah.
You know what I mean? There's all kinds of opportunities for if you have a trailer or any any type of thing. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot. I mean, it probably doesn't compete with Colorado, but
No, I've been camping in Colorado. That's awesome.
it's amazing.
Beautiful,
But New York's got a lot to
Yeah.
offer in that aspect.
Oh yeah. Well, we just drove across the country with one car, so that's all we have. We don't have any cool camping things or boats or anything yet. So
You
in the
don't- you
future.
don't need much. You need a tent and a sleeping bag.
Yeah, I got some hammocks
There you go.
and a tarp, bug net.
That's all you need.
We'll tie our dog out as an alarm. Like, let us
Yeah.
know if anything happens.
Well, we have lean-tos out here too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
But those have to be shared.
Yeah. Well, if somebody else
shows
comes
up.
along.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
if someone else shows up, you got to share.
We
it.
can make a friend. Like,
Yep.
come share the lean-to with us.
Also depends on the situation, and you don't
Yeah.
always have to share.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you can deny somebody though.
You can if it's raining outside and it's like in the middle of the night or something like. But
I don't know. It could
if
be
you
wrong.
if you claim your site, that's your site. And if somebody comes along and is stranded out there,
I mean, that's just being a good camp.
Yeah.
That's just being a good camper. I mean, but
we were up we're at Moose Pond, and there's this one peninsula. It's beautiful. It's massive. It's actually it's really nice. So there's a big pond, and then there's this peninsula that comes out. That's really narrow, and then it opens up almost like an island, and that whole thing is a campsite. And there's another campsite that's down a little bit more, and then there's nothing on this side. And the only way to get to it is by canoe. Well, somebody came tromping through the woods, like they climbed over and
bushwhacked.
yeah, and got to us, and they were like, "Yeah, we're just coming to come hang out at your," because there's a cliff that looks over the whole pond, and they're like, "We're just gonna come out and hang out at the cliff." I'm like, I got my dog there; he's flipping out on them, and we're just trying to have like a peaceful, whatever. I'm not trying to entertain anybody. It's the
Right,
middle of the day.
yeah.
And I put my foot down. I was like, "You guys got to go. You guys can." They're like,
Wow.
being loud, and they had boom boxes, and it was just like this group of people.
Hooligans.
Yeah, hooligans and they hooligans at your campsite.
Yeah, I could hear them coming.
They were probably like an army of Cossacks
Yeah.
coming through those woods.
And I'm like,
stomping
there's
through.
no path over there. What are you? Who's walking to the woods right now with a boombox?
That's what they said. They're like, listen,
Yeah.
we can get to this
Yeah,
spot.
yeah,
It's
they were,
cool.
Yeah, they could see it from that. They were They were up all night the night before and shooting off fireworks and this is like you're not
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's your site. If it's a site in your
Yeah.
site, you tell them to
Yeah.
I guess the word kick rocks.
Yeah, I did,
It's kind of mean, but
but there was a little bit of tension there. I just hate it. I don't.
yeah, you don't want to be confrontational
No.
in the woods when you're camping. But somebody was definitely stepping over the line.
Yeah. But anyway, that's rare and far in
Yeah.
between. There's some good places. Anything else you guys want to push before we wrap this up?
I mean, if, come to the grand opening. It's on July 4th, 2 to 9. We're down on Main Street, 30 East Main Street in Amsterdam. If there are food trucks or other businesses that are looking to work with us, we have a button on our website that says work with us. So you can click that and fill out the form, and it goes straight to our email, and we can contact you and let you know, what we have available or when you can schedule. We're just really excited to kind of bring a community space with some fun beers, little experimental drinks.
Absolutely.
So we're excited to be here, and we've gotten a lot of positive feedback so far, so we're happy about it.
That should be a decent weekend,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
in terms of not just the 4th, which is Thursday, but you
Yeah.
get the whole weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So yeah, what's your schedule for the rest of the weekend?
So we're going to be open Thursday to Sundays, 2 to 9 every day.
Okay.
So we'll be open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, starting from July 4th and out. As long as we don't sell out of beer. We're trying to make enough beer so that if we get a large, amount of people on July 4th, we'll have beer after that. But that's the goal.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
one more thing I want to plug is August 30th is Jimmy Buffett Day. We're going to be launching a lime goza that's been aged with tequila staff chunks. So hopefully it tastes like margarita.
Margarita beer.
Margarita-esque.
Wow.
Yeah.
And margaritas are really popular right now.
Yeah.
And who doesn't love Jimmy Buffett, you know?
Oh, my gosh.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Guy's a legend.
I
Yeah,
thought you were going to
just
go
passed
say
away.
something about cheeseburgers too, and I was like, all right.
Yeah, we should get a cheeseburger
A
truck.
cheeseburger food truck if
That's a
anybody's
great
out
idea.
there.
Burger 21
Yeah.
Burger 21.
or
I'll
Flaco
have to
Taco
look
to go with the
them
beer. Have you had Flaco Tacos yet?
up. I don't think we've had it. They go to Wolfhollow though?
They do go to Wolfhollow.
Yep.
Okay.
They're usually at the.
I was going to say on a Sunday.
Sunday,
Oh,
yeah.
Sunday.
Head over to
Okay.
Schenectady's market
The farmers market in Schenectady.
and
Where
do,
is that?
Right downtown. If you just ask where City
Okay.
Hall is.
yeah, it's so
It's in
walk
City
out.
Hall.
It's
yeah,
it's around it.
the whole square. So when you walk out of the open door,
Okay.
those streets, that square that goes all around the town.
They wrap it right
Town Hall.
around.
We've been looking for a farmer's market. We have not been successful.
It's
there's
what
tons.
time does it open? I know it stops at 2,
It's
like 9 to 2,
Yeah.
something like
On
that.
Sundays?
On Sundays,
Sunday.
every Sunday,
Every
and
Sunday.
even in the winter,
Yeah.
like they move
In
it
the
over
winter?
to Proctor's.
Okay.
indoor.
Okay.
So they're
Cool.
year round.
Okay, well that's really good to
It's
know.
really cool. It gets a
Yeah.
good turnout. They got some really good local stuff.
Yeah.
Really good.
Balsam Spa, I believe, also has a farmer's market.
It might, like I said,
somebody
there's
was telling me
probably
this
several.
recently.
You know, in the bigger.
The biggest one I could think of, though, Troy's got a huge.
There you
Oh,
go.
do they?
Yeah, it's big. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, come down, hang out with Cheyenne and Colin, drink some beer.
Yeah.
July 4th weekend and
Yeah,
beyond.
be here at the opening. Be here with everybody else, the first
Yes.
people in.
Oh, you know what else exciting we have? We have a mug club. So
Nice.
Good
you
call.
can. We have. If you go to our social media, I've shared the picture there. But we have a guy who is hand making all of our mugs.
Oh, nice.
And they're pottery mugs with like our logo on them. So we already have 10 sold, and we only have 50 available. So if you want to check it out, it's on the website or on our social media. But you get a larger pour for every beer that you get. You get a T-shirt, and you get to come to the end of the year party that we're having for just the mug club members. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Definitely got to join the mug club. I got to
Yeah.
join the mug
I
club.
love mug clubs.
Yeah.
They're fun.
Yeah, they are. It's a good. I don't know what the word is. It's really good to bring people in.
Yeah.
You know, people are like, I got my mug there.
Yeah,
You know, like
exactly.
there's a personal touch, like a something there, tangible.
Yeah,
like a tangible
exactly.
thing.
I don't know if you remember this. I walked in. I was like, "You got a mug club?" You're like, "Yeah." I was like, "I want to be in the mug club." You were like,
Yep.
"There you go. This mug is yours."
Yep. The problem with that is, and I'll make it quick, was I felt like it would exclude people.
Yeah.
You know, I just didn't have enough mugs for everybody,
Yeah.
and like it was like
Everybody wanted to be a part of it.
and everybody's like, oh, you got a mug club. Next thing you know, there's like so many people. I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just not going to do that, and I'm just going to make everybody's
Yeah.
even. You know what I mean? Like, besides the fact that the mugs, everybody started using them for like a mail room.
Yeah. Like,
You know,
put this in
somebody's
this
like,
one.
hey, put this in so and so's mug. I'm like, no, I'm not your. This is not a hotel. I don't have a letter for you. But yeah, I think
Messages?
that was one of the things. Yeah, messages. We want to send a secret message to somebody. There you go. Put in mug number 34.
Yeah.
That's funny.
You know what I like that?
Interesting idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I like that Wolfhollow does and Backstage does is that board where you can buy somebody a beer and write their name up there, and they, and then like
Then
you'll
when
see
they
like,
get it, they
yeah, you'll see Jay Hunter on like
Oh,
all
yeah.
of them. And he's got like tons of
yeah, it's a great idea.
yeah.
Oh, I like that too.
Yeah.
Have to put it in the idea
Do
folder.
it. You know?
Yeah.
It's like you got a chalkboard back
We got
there.
a chalkboard.
Yeah.
We got
Oh,
lots
perfect.
of empty walls right now,
Yep.
so
Fill
we
'em
got
right up.
space.
Yeah. All right. Well, then hopefully I will do my best to make some time on July 4th to get here. I also
We would love it.
Brian invited me to his thing, so I'm going to try to stop here first and then head over there.
Yeah,
All
that would
right.
be great. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, for sure. Unless my fiance steps in, or who will be my wife at that point, and tells me I have to do something else, which is normally the case.
There's always something to do.
Married life.
For sure. All right, guys. We wish you the best of luck. We
Yes,
can't
good
wait
luck.
to I don't know. Maybe we'll set a date for like September or something, where we
Yeah.
come back and do another podcast and check
Yeah,
in on you.
Definitely.
All
Thanks
right.
for having us.
Yeah, no problem.
Check
Thanks
up
for
on
having
you.
us. All right.